presentation, but wait, I want people to answer some questions first. So everybody take out your piece of paper where you wrote down your answers, por favor. See? You answered your question on note. Oh, wait, hold yours up there. Okay, so we are going to go. And question number 1. Who's ready to answer question number 1? And tell me which civilization, which indigenous people are you talking about, okay? So I'm just going to go here. Columbian Exchange have different questions, of course. There's a little bit different. So we are talking about what are some of the effects, what were some of the changes of the European contact with the indigenous people in Latin America. So question number 1. For the ancestors of the civilization, who are they and where are they found? So somebody give me an Inca. ¿Quién está Inca? Who's in the Inca world? You guys are Incas. Gabby, tell me. These ancestors of the Inca, where are they? Where are they found? Who are they?
Peru.
Levántese y por favor, hable alta voz.
The Incas were a small tribe of South American Indians who lived in the city of Cusco high in the Andes Mountains of Peru.
Very good. So we can find them in Peru. Do they still exist today?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, they do. So some of the indigenous people decided to stay together, kind of like what you guys are used to hearing about, like a tribe, and they wanted to maintain their culture and their heritage. So did they blend? Did they combine? Not all. Majority of them, but not all. Good job. Okay, so how did this small band of conquistadores defeat such a large and well-established empire? Remember we learned about the Incas? Very strong people. Remember the things that they created, their achievements. Yes? Can you guys please take out your graphic organizer that has the Maya, the Inca, and the Aztec? We're going to add to that after everybody shares, okay? Because your classmates are teaching you information. So we want to make sure we're taking some notes. I'll help you fill it out afterwards, but I want you guys to think about what were some of the things that the Incas achieved. Lots of big things we wrote down. We talked about the irrigation system, the farming that they did, bridges that they created. Wow, some of those are still around today. So, when you have such a great empire, Jose, Brandon, Luis, how many Spaniards came? Was it 2?
40.
Was it 2?
No.
Was it 100? Were they 1,000? Were there a million Spaniards that came to Peru? To the Incas? How many do you think came? Some say hundreds. You think hundreds can overtake a whole civilization? There were more Incas than there were Spaniards, right? Okay. So, Edie, I want you to think about this. Who researched the Incas? Who else had the Incas? Let's continue with Incas. Do I only have one group of Incas? Yes? Okay. Jair. How did a small band of conquistadores, how did a small group of conquistadores defeat such a great empire like the Inca? It should be on your piece of paper. Anna, what do you have down? They were wealthy. Who was wealthy? Okay. Okay, think about that. Think about that again. Francisco Pizarro came, and what did he do? He went to where? He went to Peru, and who did he find there? And then what happened? What did he say? What did he steal? Go. Now remember, the same information that you guys would have put on your presentation, you should have in front of you, correct? What happened?
They had guns and cannons, and that's how they...
Oh, so you're saying that the Spaniards came with certain weapons that the indigenous people didn't have? So they had weapons. What were weapons made out of?
Iron and wood.
Iron, steel, metal. How could you use that as a weapon?
You can make a sharp carry.
What did the indigenous people have? What did the Incas have?
Sticks.
They threw rocks, spears. Okay. What would you rather have if you're going to go fight with somebody? You guys keep saying musket. That makes me laugh. Do you think there's a musket around at that time? Okay. What did the Inca people do? Did they fight back? Or did they allow the Spaniards just to come in? Francisco Pizarro?
They
No.
fought back. No.
They fought back and they... What else did they use? Besides weapons, what else? What else could we add to this?
They had iron chest plates and all.
Okay, on your graphic organizer that says Maya, Inca, and Aztec, I want you guys to add two things. Who conquered them and how? I want to find out what your research told you. How did European contact change the civilization? So for the Inca, who did we say? Alani, you said? Pizarro, correct? And everybody knows he came from Spain. How did he conquer them? We said weapons. Anything else? What else could have helped a small group of people to take over such a large civilization? The what? Their military, how they fought? Do you think the Spaniards had a better way of fighting than the Incas? Okay, ¿qué más? What else did your research show you guys? You had the Colombian trade, correct? Who else? Nobody else had Inca? Are you Maya?
They also had horses, right?
They had certain resources, correct? So do you think the horses helped?
Yeah.
Okay. ¿Qué más? What's another way to take out people? What's another way to get rid of people? Disease. Disease. Was that a big deal? Did your research show that that was a big deal? Absolutely. The Spanish people were not affected by disease. So for example, Miss Moody walks in, she has chicken pox. Who's going to be afraid of her? Wait a minute. Why would you be afraid of her?
Because you wouldn't have a media for that.
Huh? Okay, but I'm not going to be afraid of her. Why do you think I'm not going to be afraid of her?
Because you already had in your media.
Because I've already been exposed to it. I had the chicken pox. What did you guys have?
Flu.
When we're talking about the chicken pox, what did you guys have? Think about it. Before you came into middle school, there were some things that you had to do.
Oh, we had to have vaccination.
You all had to have shots, correct? Everybody had to have shots. So, and how did those help you?
They killed
The virus inside of it. So
Okay.
your body could fight it.
So when the Spaniards came, what happened with the indigenous people? What happened with the Incas? What can you guys infer?
They didn't
For
have
me.
any defenses in the city.
So the Inca people had never been exposed to this, Isai, and because they had never been exposed to some of the diseases, what do you think happened? A lot of Inca, yes, we're going to talk about that, how disease played a big, big role. The Colombian Exchange is going to share that with us, okay? And so, can somebody please tell me, how did European contact change the civilization? Isai gave me an example. What was your example, Isai?
What changed?
Yes, ¿qué es lo que cambió? Sí, language. What else?
The language, because they needed to talk to one another,
Mm-hmm.
and their religion,
Their religion, good job.
and their clothing.
And their clothing, how they dressed. But let me ask you this. Who had to change their dress? The Spaniards or the Incas? The Spaniards had to change their dress? Why?
Because it was a different land, and like if they wore pants or something, and then over there was really hot, and they changed it.
Okay.
Everybody knows their land.
What do you think, Abby? Okay. Why would the Incas have to change their clothing? Why are you whispering? the Inca change? Who was in charge of who? So when the Spaniards are looking at the Incas and they're covered up with a little loincloth, what are they thinking?
They're
They're
not
weird.
civilized.
They're not civilized. So what do you think they want them to be able to do, Mirka? What is being civilized to the Spaniards? Dressing like they dress, like their culture. Very good. So that's what I want, the connection that I want you guys to say. If a person comes in here and they just came off the boat from Africa and they're dressed as if they still lived in Africa, what would you think about them? That they were what?
Weird.
Okay, what else would you want that person to do?
Change.
Why would you want to change that person?
Because they're close to the
So they can what?
Fit
Fit in with who?
in.
With who? With who? With us. Well, why can't it be the other way around? What if the Spaniards switched? What if the Incas took control and they made the Spaniards change like them? What would change for the Spaniards?
Their dress.
Their language, their dress, what else?
Religion.
The religion.
Wait,
They would change their life. ¿Qué
wait.
más?
No, but what if the Spaniards had changed? Because if they were living in America or something, what if over there was like super hot and they were wearing like winter things because maybe over there was cold? What if they had to dress? Because
I like the way you're thinking. You're right, because I've been to Central America and it's hot. If you go certain times of the year, it's super hot. And in Central America, you have tropical weather, right? Well, that's where people like to go on vacation. Every time you hear tropical weather, think about places that people want to go on vacation. So their winter is not like our winter. They don't have to put on big coats, but they have rains. They have lots and lots and lots and lots of rain. That's their winter season. So I think you're right, Isai. I think that the Spaniards would have had to change a little bit. But I think the key word was what Nathaniel said. They were civilized. So we want, okay, let's go back to our African student. Let's say that you're in the cafeteria. Okay, Mirka? You're sitting next to that African student. And they start using their feet to eat their food. What would you do? ¿Por qué? That's the way they do it. That's the way everybody does it. It's clean. That's how they use it. They're being earth friendly. They're not using metal for forks and spoons and napkins and waste and stuff. They're being friendly to the earth. So what would you do? What would you do, Brandon? Would that be okay with you?
Yes,
You would tell them to stop? Why would you tell them to stop? Because, well, who said it was disgusting? Is it a law? Did the president state this? It's against the law to use your feet to eat?
Miss Lee,
¿Qué pasó?
I would scoot over one seat and tell them to do it blindfolded. Oh no,
Why?
I didn't see it.
Okay, but you think it's a certain way. So how do you think the Spaniards, when they landed in the New World and they saw some of the things that the Incas did? Hello, what were some of the things that the Aztecs did?
Human sacrifice.
Did you know that they ate a human heart? The leaders would eat a human heart. What do you feel about that, Emma? That is. So what were you gonna do? What did the Spaniards do to the Aztecs, to the Incas, when they thought things were disgusting? How did it change them? Did they say, only do that in the corner, I don't want to see it? What did they do?
They stopped it.
They stopped them. Who was in charge of who? Here, if we had an African student come here, we're in charge, right? There's more of us that are civilized, and so we would want that person to change. Well, now you have the effects of the Europeans in Latin America.